Hi, Vortex. So, I was just thinking about how lucky I am to have a job. I have 2 jobs. Now, this is partially because when the virus first hit the United States in March, I wasn't sure what the restaurant industry was going to look like. So I thought it would be best to work overnight at a grocery store. That way I would never run out of food. I feel like this was one of the smartest decisions I've ever made in my entire life. But because most people don't want to work overnight, it's really easy for me to find one of those jobs. I think that if people adjusted their sleep schedule, they'd be able to find work. But it's also, I guess, what they call menial work. So it's not, complicated or intense or anything. But, I was thinking about conventional decisions that most people make. I'm not a conventional person in the slightest. I mean, I drive a car, and I eat sometimes, and I really think the most pop culture-y thing that I do is weed. But like I've said before, I've gotten kind of sick of that lately. And I don't know, I'm always talking to myself about stuff. Not just me stuff, but world stuff, and I guess it is me stuff, because everything that I talk about, is my perspective on the world. But I'm constantly asking questions about things. My mom has asked me to not go on the internet because it is just making me crazy. And you see, I'm fully aware of that, though. I just really feel for people that don't have any awareness of how all the things that they're doing is just destroying their psychological makeup. And I feel like people were already crazy before technology, and people were already crazy before presidents, and people were already crazy before social networking and all that. So you just add on all these things that just make it worse and worse and worse. And it just zaps out all this awareness. So you don't really know what's going on. You're told what's going on, and what's going on changes every 15 minutes. So your reality is totally unreliable. A lot of people reject the notion of God because they're skeptical about it. I understand. But, it's good to ask questions, and it's good to not just go along with whatever you're told. But it's also good to ask those questions to the universe, in a positive way rather than a negative way. And I feel like people that are more secular, they just look at everything from like, you know, the victim mentality and the glass half empty kind of outlook. And I think that that's why these people rely so heavily on government, and they rely so heavily on science, and they rely so heavily on, you know, other people to tell them how to think about things. Now I realize that there are definitely people that believe in God. There are definitely people that are more I don't know what the word is to describe them, but maybe evangelical types, but people that are more traditional. And I think that the traditional people, you know, they fall in line just as much as the non-traditional people. So it's like for all the people to think that they're supposed to be married and have kids and go to church every Sunday and watch football and do this, do that. You know, there are people that think that they should have their abortion before 25 and you know, they should be on some kind of pill. I mean, I really do think that it is like some sort of rites of passage a lot of the time, and we don't really talk about that. And, you know, I'd like to change the way that I talk about things, because sometimes I know that I sound very judgmental, and the last thing I want to do is be that way, because that's not a good representation of what Yeshua, that's Jesus, that was his actual name. I've been doing some research on Jesus. It's interesting how much of like everything we've been taught is a total lie. Like, Jesus wasn't even born on fucking Christmas. Like, I think he was born in like March. I need to do some more research on that, but it interfered with like a pagan holiday, so they just said that he was born on the 25th of December. But I brought this up because today is Christmas Eve, and I'd like to wish y'all a Merry Christmas, or a Happy Festivus, or a Happy Hanukkah, or a Happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you celebrate or don't celebrate. If you don't celebrate anything, cool, I guess. Like, at this point, I really don't care what you believe or don't believe, as long as you're a principled person. That's really all it takes for you to be cool in my book. Now, I know that nobody's reading my book, but y'all should, because it's a good one. So, I think that we get so lost in labels and identities that we forget about humanity. And you know, that's exactly what they want. They being the powers that be. They want people to completely lose themselves in the materialistic aspect of modern society. They want people to lose themselves in the... And I do think that, like, identity is a form of that. Because you lose your spirit whenever you obsess about a particular aspect of yourself, and you treat it like it's the be-all and end-all of your personality and your entire being, you know? And that's just ridiculous. Who wants to do that? I mean, I don't. I did that in my early 20s when I was going to AA meetings. And I got sick of it, so I stopped going. And it's like the same people. They just don't understand, you know, like, why I lost interest in that. But I guess I'm just not a sheep, you know? And, like, I don't want to knock it, because I know that, like, 12-step programs legitimately help people, you know, stay clean and sober and avoid bad habits and bad behaviors. But
honestly, sometimes I think it makes it worse because you tell yourself, oh, well, I'm sober, and you're still an asshole, you know? It's true, man. It's true. I mean, I've watched so many people with several decades of sobriety lose their shit on newcomers, all because, you know, they interrupted somebody in a meeting, or they didn't understand the format, or maybe they kept asking questions. You know, it's like, what's the point of being sober if you're gonna act like that? But I really think that for a lot of people, it's just an excuse to hook up with other fucked up people. But it's also an ego trip as well. I was just thinking about that, like, that I get on these ego trips, and I don't like it at all. I just wanted you in the vortex to know that I'm aware of this, because I hate that. That's why I'm not on Twitter. It's like, I don't even want to be tempted to troll people. Trolling is the most immature thing. It really is. I mean, if you're making people think, that's one thing, but most people don't do that. They just want to be a dick, you know? And there's already enough of that in the world. You really don't need to add to that. But I just find that kind of behavior personally obnoxious because, like, it's just unnecessary, you know? It really is. Okay, so we have a fireworks display over there. That's pretty cool. You should buy some, man. I mean, you live in the South for a reason. Yeah, that's true. I know a lot of people are speculating that, like, the world's gonna end. Here's the thing, you guys. In every era since the Bible was written, you have a bunch of evangelical Christians that are determined to believe that now is the time of revelations. They'll always say, oh, read in the book of Revelations, all this stuff is happening. I mean, maybe they're right this time. But Nostradamus predicted differently. I think he predicted, like, the world would end at, like, what? It was like 6,000 something. I mean, nobody knows. So anytime that people read something, it's all based on speculation. Nobody knows. Only God knows. So please, for the love of God, for the love of Jesus, for the love of Yeshua, stop freaking people out. They're already freaked out enough. But I don't know, there is a part of me that's like hoping that it's true. Because I'm ready to go to heaven, y'all. I mean, I've done a lot of bad things. But I'd like to think that I've tried to make restitution. And since Jesus Cristo has washed me in his blood, and I really and truly believe that, I'm not too worried. But I know I'm going to spend a fuck ton of time in purgatory for all the horrible things that I've done. I know that for a fact. If the Catholics are right, God forbid, then that's definitely going to happen. But, yeah, man. Thank you for paying attention to me, by the way. Thank you for watching this. Most people completely misinterpret me. But not you, Vortex, not you.